Hello, owners, and welcome to Week 5 in Review. We've gotten a lot of feedback on the first four videos. Some very positive comments, a few negative comments. So, in an effort to improve our production quality, we are going landscape. All right. How you guys liking that one? Woo! Little surprise for you. How about some Riot Fest? I guess it's probably backwards, but back when we used to have live music. Anyway, let's get into the news. So far, no positive tests this week for the first time. Wait, what? No, that's not true at all either. I really don't understand this article at all. So apparently, the Carolina Panthers on Wednesday entered the NFL's intensive protocol after an Atlanta Falcon tested positive. Defensive tackle Marlon Davidson of the Atlanta Falcons was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. But all this article talks about is the Panthers being in this COVID protocol. And they don't talk about the Falcons at all. So I don't really get any of that. But I know that as of this moment, no games have been postponed or put on hold or anything like that. So everything, as far as I know, is a go in the COVID-19 realm. We know that obviously COVID-19 has already caused several games to change times or days. 2 games had to be moved to different weeks, including the Denver-New England game, which will be played this Sunday at 1 o'clock. We have, in the bye weeks, because of this, have been shuffled around a little bit as well. Speaking of byes, this week's bye teams are Vegas, New Orleans, the LA Chargers, and Seattle are the 4 teams on bye this week. Injuries continue to mount in this season. Dak Prescott out for the year with a season-ending ankle injury. Andy Dalton in for the Cowboys. I didn't really notice this last week, but Flacco will get his second start for the Jets with Darnold still out. Just in case you were curious, I know that you were. Flacco last week went 18 of 33 for 195 and a score in that 30-10 loss to the Cardinals. The Jets are absolutely terrible. They just cut Le'Veon Bell as well. Nothing going right for the Jets. And let's see, what do we got? Cam is still day-to-day with his COVID positive deal. One last league piece, because that game was moved to last night, waivers will run overnight tonight. So that's about 3 a.m. on Thursday morning, technically, right? So that's overnight Wednesday into Thursday, around 3 a.m. All right, let's get into the games. We'll start with the 2 come-from-behind wins on Tuesday night. Cobra Kai gets 17.7 from A.J. Brown on Tuesday night as they erase their deficit to beat the Lake Show 139.66 to 131.44. Big Ben actually led the way for Kai with 27.36 points on 27 completions, 34 attempts, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns for Big Ben. Kelsey, 22.8, and Slayton, 18.9. The Lake Show was led by the Stash, 27.84. Sanders turned in 22.9, and Moore, 17.3. The Dogs used Josh Allen's very useful points. 22.32 points on Tuesday to come out victorious over the Rattlesnakes. That final ended up being 110.12 to 102.74. Allen went 26 of 41 for 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, added 18 yards on the ground. Tennessee looked really good in that game. Bills looked pretty bad in that game. Zeke actually led the Dogs scoring with 23, and Carson had 16.9. Rattlesnakes had Davis go for 25.4. The Ravens D scored 25 points as they totally controlled the Bengals on Sunday afternoon. And speaking of the Ravens, Brown also turned in 16.8 for the Snakes. High score of the week goes to the St. Lucia Zooks. Man, they've been totaling up those points. They rang up 165.08 on the Dragers, who managed a season low 78.22. Russell Wilson led the way for the Zooks with 30.48 points, 20 completions, 32 attempts, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also added 58 yards on the ground. Thielen, 24.8, and Hopkins, 24.1, also for the Zooks. Drager picked up Teddy Bridgewater last week, put him in the starting lineup, and Teddy repaid those Dragers by leading the scoring for that team with 26.82 points. Diggs had 17.6 and Freeman 15.7. This game was also clearly the blowout of the week as well. Let's try that again. There it goes. All right. Winner of 4 in a row and the hottest team currently in the league, Belichick yourself topped the Headbangers 124.2 to 92.6. Kyler Murray led the way for the winners with 30.3 points on 27 completions, 37 attempts, 380 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. He also added 31 rushing yards and a rushing TD. Sorry about that. Metcalf, 24.3, and Henry, 18.8. Henry is just a beast. I love that guy. Also, those are our big scores for Belichick. Headbangers did have the highest score for a individual player. Mahomes put 35.7 on the board, but that was just not enough to overcome Belichick. Anderson also had 17.5, and Waller 13.3. Man Bunga hung a second consecutive loss on Bathtub Gin, 111.4 to 91.52. Breeze tops the Bungholes with 25.1. Breeze went 33 of 47 for 325 yards and a touchdown. Also had an INT in that game, and he had a 1-yard touchdown run. Jones Jr., 16, and Fuller, the 5th or whatever he is, 13.8. Bathtub, Ridley, 19.6. Lamar, 17.5. And Lutz, 14 in the loss. Rounding out week 5, Clash City Rockers top the Pilot Lights, 138.46 to 98.34. Watson, 32.86, led the way for the Rockers. But the one I want to talk about, I want to talk girls. As in Todd Gurley and his 25 points on 14 carries, 121 yards, a touchdown. He also added 4 catches for 29 yards. Over the last 3 weeks, Gurley, man, has averaged about 14 carries a game, just under 90 yards per game, and has scored 4 touchdowns over those 3 games. Current player position rank is number 10. Not too shabby. Not too shabby for the Gurley, man. And I hope that girl can keep it up all season. Oh, Jacobs rounded out the top CCR scorers with 21.5. For the Lights in the loss, they were led by Kamara with 15.9. Connor, 13.8, and the Cleveland D, 13 points. All right, we talked about the buys. We talked about the waiver run tonight. Looks like no game on Thursday, but 2 games on Monday. And just stay tuned. Continue to watch for any other COVID developments as they come down the pike. And that is it for week 5. See you guys later.